So now that we have our maps baked out, we can start messing with them to try to get a diffuse texture. And really that's where you use ambient occlusion maps. They're a good starting point for that sort of thing. I'm going to double click on this to get it into a layer. And then I'm just going to start messing with this to try and get a basis. I'll clone it out. And on this clone version, I will hit Control U to bring up hue saturation. I am on a slightly older build of Photoshop. I'm on CS3, so bear with me if you have fancy tools that I'm not using. And I'm going to go to colorize and just make this, start getting something that's a little less pure black. I'll even lighten it. And then I'll create a new layer with Control Shift N. Again, if these are actually my custom added hotkeys and they're not working for you, I apologize, and you should consider setting your own hotkeys. And I'm going to fill this with just a random color, which is green, I believe. Sorry if you can't see things you're normally used to because of my screencaster. I can set this to a layer mode transfer, such as multiply, and we can start to see if I can get some color variation on this. This multiply is where I might also lighten this up a little bit. I'll hit Control L on my occlusion map layer and sorry, I'm just going to drop out the black levels of it so that it's not quite so dark. And we can use this layer, this green layer, as just a decal layer and start coming up with some crazy ideas. I can make a selection that is Z-shaped. One thing that is oftentimes better to do for that is use the pen brush to make your selection. So I can just go I'm left clicking to set Beziers. I will hold Alt and click on this Bezier again to change its handle type. Just start moving this. That one didn't turn out so well, so I'll hold Control to get my arrow tool really fast. I'll undo that one. Again, change my Bezier type. Let's move. Now we get a nice Z pattern. And that's a lot more organic and natural than trying to hand draw that with the lasso tool or try and mimic it with the vector tool over here. But now I can take that pen tool and right click and convert it to a selection. And I want to do this in a non-destructive way, so I'm going to create a layer that is a adjustment layer. Now let's set it to hue saturation with, and when I create it, it's going to use this as my layer mask. So I'll just make that pure white right now. So if you're unfamiliar with layer masks, it is a sub-layer of a layer, and it creates a black and white transition of where this layer exists or not. So if I have a layer over here, I'll just brush something and just brush in some leaves. And then I create a layer mask on it using this button down here. Now this layer mask is pure white, saying that everything on this is correct. I'll actually invert this so you can see it better. You have to click on which swatch you're using, either the layer or the layer mask. And then with the layer mask selected, you can use black to erase. So now there's black areas where these are not going to show up. So that's bare bones idea of what a layer mask is. And I'll just delete that there. So this is a start for this guy. he has, I don't know. Just some other superhero decal. This is where baking is really handy. Even though we're using this as just a straight up texture. I don't want this to be pure white. But so we can have a texture that implies a lot of data beyond what we would normally see. And so this is green and white, but it has more stuff going on than just straight up green and white. So let's save this and try applying it in 3D. I'll Control Shift save as a TerraGef. I'll call this cowl. Cowl diffuse a 1, because I think I'm going to have multiple superheroes for the different parts of the room. And just save that. Now let's go to Maya and try loading this up. So I'll go to my reference file. Show. What happened? Alright. I'll get back to you with how it works in Maya.